People of Reddit, what's the funniest shit you've ever seen? This drunk dude at a bar was telling a group of us that there was a guy sitting in a chair outside staring him down. Our friend had poor eyesight, and it didn't help that he was piss drunk, but he was absolutely convinced that the guy outside wanted to fight him. We looked outside onto the patio area, and sure enough, there was a guy in a chair with an evil look on his face, facing the window to the bar. I should also add that this was close to Halloween, and the guy sitting in the chair was a stuffed scarecrow with a pumpkin for a head, with a mean face drawn on it. We almost let our friend loose on the thing, but it was fucking hilarious watching him rant how he's going to fucking kill the guy, and to watch his back because the scarecrow probably had friends with him. You should have let your friend beat up the scarecrow and watch his reaction when the pumpkin head inevitably breaks or explodes. I just imagine a dude shitting himself thinking he committed murder. That was the plan. We were good friends with the owner and bar staff, and they would have had to clean it all up. In retrospect, we all should have volunteered to do the cleanup, just to witness Greg attacking a pumpkin head scarecrow in a fit of drunken rage. Or say, hey man, I'll take care of this, you stay put. Grab a knife and proceed to stab the scarecrow viciously. Once, during college, a group of us saw two blind people walk into each other, and one bounced off and landed in a trash can. Obviously, this was a shock to both, and the trash can blind person shouted, "What are you, blind?" which was met with a very apologetic, "Yes, I will never laugh that hard again." Hell, I'm laughing at it again now just typing this. When I was in the military, there was a store on base that had supplies made by the blind and the store was run by the blind. Myself and a work friend went to pick up some office supplies. Despite the name of the store being the blind store and all the products saying skillfully made by the blind, at checkout the cashier was reaching for the card and feeling it out and my friend says, "What are you, fucking blind?" to which he answers, "Yes I am." My friend was so embarrassed but the cashier just laughed it off and treated him like a dumbass. We went back to work and I told everyone who would listen. It took a while for him to live that one down. My best friend used to fight in karate tournaments and was actually pretty good. One time there was no one in his Agibelt class to fight, so he was invited to fight in an exhibition fight with another kid who didn't have anyone to fight. Well, they were wearing headgear so you couldn't really make out their facial features very well, so my friend didn't realize that he was fighting against a kid with Down syndrome. He beat the ever-loving shit out of this poor kid. The whole time people were telling him to take it easy and giving him dirty looks and shit, and he just kept on obliviously beating that kid's ass. To this day he's still known as the guy who relentlessly beat up a disabled kid. He will never live it down as long as I'm alive. I think this guy wins. There was one time where I had a baseball game and was playing second base. Bases loaded, no outs, 1-run game. Well, I get a piss missile hit right at me. I knock it down and go to pick it up. Everyone is screaming home, home, home. I take a look and see nothing. They keep yelling. For a solid 5 seconds, I'm standing still, holding the ball, ready to throw home. Finally, I see what everyone is yelling about. The kid heading home was disabled and moving at the pace of a dying war vet. Now, in my mind, it's what's going on? Has he scored? Why are you yelling? Do I have a chance at the out before I saw him? Everyone else sees me, standing still, watching a disabled kid slowly try and score for the first time ever, before I throw him out. I looked like the biggest arsehole in the world, as if I were taunting this poor kid. That's right. You can do it. Move, you miserable bastard. Move. You're almost the fuck you're out. Still get a good laugh whenever it's brought up. I was at a Black Bear diner with my husband and our other friend. We were all a little high. The Black Bear mascot comes out of the kitchen and towards our row of seats. Across the aisle from us was a mom with 2 little boys, maybe 3-6 years old. One of the little boys had his back towards the kitchen and didn't see the mascot coming out, and he turned around right as the bear got to his table and just lost his shit, screaming bloody murder and crying. The mascot then turns to our table and shrugs. Obviously we couldn't see his face, but you could tell they were mortified. They then backed away slowly back into the kitchen. I still think about the way the mascot looked at us and crack up. When I was in high school there was this special needs kid who had some emotional issues on our wrestling team. He was one of the strongest kids I have ever met in my life. So anyway, the varsity wrestler at his weight was 6, so he was taking over for that weekend's varsity tournament. So his match comes up and we all migrate to his mat to watch the match. The kid he was wrestling wasn't exactly the best sport and he poked him in the eye during the match. The kid's dad calls this out and his opponent tells the dad to fuck off. And next thing you know, my teammate straight up kicks him across to the other mat and runs over and starts slapping the ever living shit out of this kid. The ref and coaches had to pull him off. I mean, it was like the Sparta kick from 300, just boom. And he got off him screaming, "You don't fuck with me. You don't fuck with me," and they carried him off the mat and he continues shouting this. You can hear him from 50 feet away in a packed gym. The other kid was in tears and was sitting there trying to figure out what had just happened. I was gasping for air, I was laughing so hard. The rest of the time we were in high school we called him Leonidas and he embraced the fuck out of it. God, I miss him. In high school, a close friend was taking biology class. Topic is inherited traits. Teacher, who is a notorious witch, asks students what traits they inherited from their parents, but no one wants to speak up. Teacher starts to get aggravated and is calling on students, but they all shrug and say dunno. She asks one more kid, gets a dunno, and blows up, ranting about how could he not know what his parents look like and he sees his parents every day, and in general about his lack of respect and unwillingness to participate in class. Friend raises hand. Mrs. X? Teacher, what? Friend, he is adopted. Edit. Old story changed in favor of a better story. One of my best friends, we'll call him John, has a heart condition and whenever he is drunk he is always looking for cigs. As his friends we try to keep him from smoking cigs because we don't want him damaging his heart any more than it already is. On night my buddy, we'll call him Nick, caught him with a cig in his mouth. Nick said, "John, throw that cig out." John, who was belligerent, said, "Fuck you, I'll fight you for it." Nick agreed to fight for the cig. So John threw the cig on the ground. So Nick already won, and charged at Nick and tripped and fell. It was the funniest thing I have ever seen in my life. It wasn't going to be an actual fight, just two buddies fucking around. During my first year of film school, one of my friends was fresh off the boat from Switzerland and was still adjusting to American culture. Every semester our school would hold open auditions for the local acting pool so that they could get their name out for the various student projects in production. My Swiss friend decided to partake in this open audition and did a dramatic reading from a Wiz Khalifa song. I can't exactly remember which one. What followed was a bald white guy saying hard RN words in a Swiss German accent in front of a live audience of woke film students. Everyone was so stunned that no one stopped him. You could have cut the tension in the room with a knife. Me and my friend were in the back laughing our asses off at how awkward the situation was. It was like watching a scene from the Boondocks. He didn't tell us what he was going to do for the audition, so it was a total surprise. After it was all said and done, the instructor running the audition awkwardly thanked him and led him off stage. He came back to us and asked if we thought he did well. We thought he was joking around, but he was 100% serious. We eventually had to break it to him that saying the N-word in the US is very controversial unless you are a part of certain racial groups. We knew he meant nothing by it. He just was ignorant to the culture. When I was in high school people smoked cigarettes. It wasn't no fucking epidemic like they say with smoking vaping today. Like 40-50% of my school smoked. We had a smoking section just for smoking. Setting. Smoking section at lunch. 200 plus people there having darts. I used to smoke weed at lunch to calm my anxiety. I used to roll my own smokes back then as well using a machine plus the filter tubes. Looks like a normal smoke. Well, I didn't want to get fucked up high at lunch. A learner has to learn after all, so what I'd do is roll my normal smokes for school and one of them I'd roll and about 14 of it was weed, the rest tobacco. Cue lunch. Out smoking my special cig. Out of nowhere pushing through the crowd of 200 students, Captain Jackass, the vice principal, is trying to find the people smoking a joint. Comes up to my little group, just sees us all smoking cigs and keeps moving to the next. The fucking guy was raging. Like hothead rage, red face and all. He yells, "Whoever is smoking the joint, we'll find you." My internal monologue, lol, and you'll be expelled. He suddenly stops speaking, but he clearly was going to continue, but something catches VP's eye. He looks up and I swear to fucking god a seagull shit right on his fucking face in front of 200 students. Nobody could fucking contain themselves. We all busted out laughing. Funniest shit I ever seen. maybe had to be there to see it, but OMFG was it perfect timing. He basically stayed in his office for a week after that while poop jokes went around the school for a week. Damn, man, shit would be a lot easier if we could smoke at my school. Pushed trolleys at the supermarket during uni, and it was a weird 5050 mix of uni students and low academic achievers. One day, one of the low achievers found a bottle of lighter fluid left in a trolley and decided to put it in a paper cup and light it up. It burnt the cup down to the fluid line and just sat there burning happily. They watched it for a while, then when it didn't erupt into a massive fireball they decided to put it out. People were starting to look. The first attempt was one of them stamping on it, crushing the cup and spreading burning lighter fluid over a 2-foot diameter area. This panicked them and 3 were furiously trying to stamp it out. 4th kept his head and knew just what to do. He picked up his gallon water container, proudly warned his compatriots to get out of the way, and then threw it down over the burning fluid. Then they had a 6-foot diameter puddle of blazing lighter fluid. I was in a closed balcony that's attached to the cafeteria in my